friends, welcome to our first camp day, traveling around the world. And so we had talked about on our Zoom call that we were going to do a weaving, a spiral weaving, and today we're going to get out those materials that you got in your material kit to be able to work on this as our first project. Remember how we talked about Native American people using weaving for making all kinds of useful things, clothing, and beautiful tapestries and rugs that they would have used and still do to this day. We're going to make ours on a paper plate. So let's go ahead and get out all our materials and make sure we have everything that we need. Okay, so you should have all of your materials laid out in front of you for your spiral weaving. You're going to need your paper plate. You are going to need a pencil. You'll need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a length of yarn. I measured it about 2 of my arm lengths kind of stretched out. So 1 and 2 is probably about 4 feet or so, 3 or 4 feet. And that's going to be what we're going to use to make our loom. And I'm going to teach you all how to do that. But before we make our loom, we're going to paint our paper plates. This will just give a nice little backdrop for your weaving, and you won't even remember that you had a paper plate on there when you're finished. For my colors here, I just chose some blues and some silver. You all are going to have some different colors to use from your art kit that you received at Studio Ace, and you get to just decide whatever colors you'd like to use and how you want to put them. You could paint the plate one whole color, you could do a rainbow, you can do circles of color. It's up to you. You're the artist. Okay, so now that your paper plate is dried, because you're going to want that paint to be dry, you're going to go ahead and turn it over to the back. And this part can be a little bit tricky, so you're just going to have to pay attention and just do the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. But the thing that you need to remember the most is that you want an odd number of slits around your plate. So I generally have been working with 19 notches. And so generally I just go ahead and start up at the top. I make that one a little bit longer when I'm drawing that with my pencil. And then each distance is about an inch, maybe an inch and a quarter from each other. And I'm just gonna go ahead and make, like we said, odd number of slots. We're going to go ahead and take a pencil, that's how I did this, to make a hole in the middle of the plate. Make sure you don't poke yourself. If you need help from an adult with this, just kind of gently push through a little hole right in the middle of the plate there. And then you're going to get, here's my yarn that I'm going to use for my weaving. And then the black is what I'm going to actually make the loom with. So I'm going to pick one point as my top point, and I'm going to go ahead and take the string and put it through that top notch right there. I'm going to leave a little tail on the back, maybe about an inch and a half or 2 inches on the back. You can put a little piece of tape to hold it in place if you feel like you need to. A little piece of masking tape would probably be the best, but you could use Scotch tape too. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to count around your notches till you end up as much across from the one that you started in as possible. So it should kind of come right near that hole, right down through the middle. I don't want to pull it too tight because it'll start to bend the plate up. And then what you're going to want to do is just take your yarn, like we're a clock, going on clockwise. We're going to go right on the back, put it through the next notch, and we're going to make the world's smallest X. So we can look at that and we can see, oh, that doesn't look like the world's smallest X. That looks a little bit better, but this one right here, that's a nice fine X. So after you've brought this down here, then you're going to just flip the plate over, go right to the right behind that piece that we've cut. And we're only going to be crisscrossing on the front. So you'll see your back is going to end up looking like this on your plate. It's just going to be these small little notches. And your front is where you're going to have all of the X's. So you're just going to keep working to the right, making X's over top of each other, turning your plate over, going behind that little notch, and then making another X right here, down through, behind this notch, and then I'm going to bring this back over the top. Wow, I had just enough yarn. I'm going to go ahead and go under all of the strings that I've done there. I'm going to kind of pull them to the center. So you can see I took that last string that didn't have a notch to go into. I went underneath. I'll do it again. This one doesn't have any place to go in. So I'm going to bring it all underneath of this yarn right here. Kind of tuck those in, pull them so they're looking very centered. And then I'm going to just take this and push this down through that little hole that we made in the beginning. I use my pencil point and I just kind of find a little place on the yarn, just push it through and pull it through the back. And there you go. Now you've got your looms already. So we're going to go ahead and, I don't know how I cut that piece behind, tie those two pieces together in the back. And I'm going to trim this because I don't need all of that extra right there. And then I'm ready to begin my weaving. So you all are going to have some different colored yarns in your art kit. And you just need to decide what color you would like to start with. I think I'm going to start with this beautiful bright pink. So you're going to just find any one of these strings and you're going to take your yarn that you're going to start weaving with and you're just going to tie a simple knot. So just making the little loop, pulling it through. And then the thing that we want to remember as we start to weave is every time we add a new color of yarn, we're going to end up with this little tail that's coming out. And you don't really want those sticking out in your weaving. So you're just going to need to make sure that you tuck those behind the weaving. And you might have to readjust it as you do it, just to make sure that they aren't showing. So I've got this tied on, really one little knot is fine. And then I'm just going to start the pattern of over, under, over, under, over, under. All right, so I am going to go ahead and change the color so that you can see what's going on here. I think I'm going to go to this purple, and normally I would just weave to the end of that piece, but I would like to just show you. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that piece off right there. And what we're going to do is just do another simple tie. So you're just going to take both ends of this, bring one around the other. I usually kind of put my finger through the middle to create the loop, and then just kind of pull that back in through where that little hole was created by my finger being there. Okay, here we're going to have some tails that we're going to have to tuck in to our weaving, so we'll remember that when we get to that part. Okay, so right here, that's where we've got that. We're just going to go ahead and just push that down. And you won't be able to see it, especially after we keep going and we're adding more colors. I can see right here there's a little bit of separation, so I just want to kind of use my fingers to push that through, pull it a little bit tighter, not too tight. And then we're going to keep going. And you're just going to keep going around until you get to the place where you feel like you've weaved as much as you want to have on there. I like to at least usually kind of fill up maybe about 3/4 of the plate to about here. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm just going to decide when it's time for me to change colors and I want to add a new color. And I'll just put in a different color and tie them together, tuck those little tails underneath, and just keep on going. Okay, so once you have gotten to where you would like to finish your weaving here, and I would continue to go further than this. This is just the beginning part for me. I just want to show you how to be able to end it. You're just going to go ahead and, if you had string left or yarn left, cut it so you have maybe a 2-inch piece left, and you're just basically going to want to tie it around the last string here on your loom. So I'm just going to make another little loop, tie that through, try to pull it tight but not too tight, and once again we're just going to do that little tuck, so we're not going to see any of those pieces showing. And you all have fun with it. Just continue to go as far out on this loom as you want until you can't go any further. And then, like I was saying, if you'd like to add a little loop to be able to hang it, you could take another little piece of string, maybe go through the back here, and make a little double knot. I'm going to go ahead and hide that part since that part doesn't look as pretty, and hide that on the back, and then you have a little loop that you could hang your finished piece on. I hope you enjoyed making the spiral weaving. See you tomorrow for our next project.